Next is from Daddy Mac Mac Daddy. Subject is the war now on. Keep It 100 is the best wrestling show going. Show me another one, I'll tell you you're lying.
That's a
Love the
lot of
video
those
mail.
today. That's like
Yeah,
half a dozen saying, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
love the video mailbags. Leaves in stuff that you usually cut out of the podcast. My question is, now that Edge, aka Corner, is now headed to AEW, as predicted
Tremendous.
by me,
That's
as
tremendous.
predicted as predicted by me a few weeks back, was called out by Disco along with Sasha Banks and WWE striking back by signing Jade Cargill and Brian Pillman, basically swapping young promising props for big name talent. Do you guys think we'll see more talent changing hands on both ends now that this Endeavor deal is done? Can we get Daddy Magic's the main event time and money, please? Conan, Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ang as AAA Tag Team Champs equal money. That's from Daddy Mac Mac Daddy. Um, what did I call out? Edge signing Edge signing with AEW. Is he signed AEW?
There's nothing. There's nothing official, and there won't be because he's big on surprises, of course. But
Right.
I
I
don't
have
see
no clue.
anything.
I don't.
He says he has a WWE contract extension sitting in his inbox. He just doesn't know what to do. That
Right.
was off Twitter. Yeah.
Well, because
Well, I
he
think
get up there.
I think that the guy, while he's saying that, are we going to see more talent change? It almost feels like all the higher price guys, like, all right, if you make $2 million with WWE, let's just say, and maybe Tony's going to give you 3 million. You're like, well, let me get that extra 2 million over there. And it's like they're sending him all the high price talent that's already over, and they're getting a lot of the younger guys that don't cost as much and they can cultivate. You know what I'm saying? That's what it kind of looks like to me.
And Keller reported that Edge was presented, or no, I'm sorry, Edge presented to WWE what it would take to retain his services, but WWE declined to meet the request. So if it's money, maybe he could go. I think that would look very strange, but I'm sure it would be good.
So do I. Yeah.
Christian and Jericho are both there. Edge has all that history. I mean, they would do good stuff.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't be a
Next,
bad little trio.
next is from Brad Price. Subject is Roddy the Simp. K100. As always, you guys are right on point about everything you've been saying. My question today is about Roddy the Simp Strong. I feel like he's doing his best character work of all time. He never really has had a character beyond either being in a group or just being a wrestler. While he's obviously portrayed as a little, he could lead to good heel work in the future. My question is, Jim Cornette says that Roddy Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett are three of his favorite workers of all time and should be elevated. Do you think they have what it takes for that to happen? Also, do you think that Adam Cole could join up with the Kingdom or maybe Kyle O'Reilly return? Best show out, Brad Price, Bloomberg, Pennsylvania. So, I said the first time I saw these guys cut promos on that show, I'm like, why are these guys haven't been on this show cutting more promos? They all look good and they can talk, and they were kind of doing like they all they were doing was when Roddy would come out at the beginning of this angle, they were coming out and standing with them, and I like most other fans we're going, oh, what's this? Like, who are those guys? Like, oh, that's the Kingdom, the Ring of Honor. I'm like, I don't watch Ring of Honor. Okay, so it's like you can't sit there like continue to bring what was it, like 30,000 people watch Ring of Honor a week, right? Joe, some low number like that. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't assume that out of 870,000 people that watch your show, 840,000 of them probably have no clue who Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are, or wonder why they're standing out there with Roderick Strong. So finally, after like a month of doing this, they finally let these guys talk and start doing vignettes. And these are one of the more entertaining acts on the show. So I absolutely think they should do some stuff with them. And Roderick Strong is doing great work in this angle, and that's probably Cole and MJF, helping him out because Cole and him are buddies, and that's the thing, bro. You get these guys, like you get guys from the WWE system, and they just know how to act on, like they're good actors, like their vignettes are professional, and like they do good work out there, So I definitely think that these guys, I I would make them the tag team champions, or I would give them some prominent wins. I would push these guys. What do you think, Conan?
Yeah, they've really surprised me because Roddy Strong, good friend. I'm glad that he's finally doing some good work here. And he's been in the business long enough. He's been through Impact. He's been through NXT. He's seen how other guys gotten over, and he's learned it. And he's doing the best character, work of his career. Matt Tabor, I had seen in Ring of Honor. I thought he was bland and nothing special. And Mike Bennett, I had seen him in Impact. I used to do an Impact review on MLW, and I thought he was boring. Definitely Wonder Bread. But they have done a good job here, and so I like to see a little bit more of them in the ring. They're nothing better than what we already see,
Sir,
but their character looks good.
You don't have to be great as long as you're good. As
Right.
long as you don't suck, you're
Right.
decent for television these days, and that's one thing that people.
Yeah, they're definitely good.
Right, and it's kind of weird because people will sit there and criticize guys that are on TV, and if they're not having 4-star matches, they shouldn't be on TV. And I'm like, no, if you're doing 4-star vignettes, you should be on TV every week. Like that, that's the one thing we don't do, and that's one thing wrestling needs to do. And you would get a different perspective on talent in professional wrestling, bro. All Dave does is rate the matches. You should rate the promos and the vignettes too, because you got a lot of guys that Dave, for one perfect example, Dave was not very high on LA Knight, but okay, let's say LA Knight's a 3-star worker. What are LA Knight's promos? They're like 4 and 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna you
Which
shouldn't
is more
push the guy
important.
100% more important. And obviously, and all the evidence points to that. Roderick Strong is getting over not because he's a good worker. He's getting over because he's been doing a good job in this angle, being the little simpy little, which is seriously, he didn't. The guy wrestled his first match last week. And he lost, or no, he won one and then he lost. He ended that tournament, right? But nobody cares what he did in that tournament. All we care about is how is this angle going to further? What's going on with these events with him and Adam Cole? What are they going to turn on? That's what you're interested in, And he's doing excellent work in that. And all those guys are. MJF, Cole, and even Samoa Joe is cutting great promo. All the guys that MJF is working with, they're everybody. He's complimenting himself with a lot of good talent around him that is working. That these angles are working. So. You got any more comment on this? Anybody? All right.
No.
Next one's from Dave Johnson. The subject is Bryan Danielson, Arena, Mexico. Hey guys, recently Bryan Danielson said that he wants to slow his career down and wrestle a handful of times per year. Meltzer reported that Danielson wants to do a match in Arena, Mexico. This is like a stupid question to even ask, but I'm going to read it. Conan, have you had any conversations with AAA about making this happen? P.S. How about Disco Inferno versus Bryan Danielson in Arena, Mexico? The finish is that Disco hits him with the chart buster. Danielson goes into a seizure. Disco then grabs Brie Bella, and they do the Saturday Night Fever in the ring. Thanks, and that's from David J. I like that angle. That's a good angle. Conan, do you like that angle?
Yes.
Okay, have you had conversations with AAA about making this happen with Bryan Danielson? I'm absolutely certain you probably talked to him about it.
Yeah, but the guy's talking about Arena
Mexico.
Mexico. I don't work for Arena Mexico, so why would I hook that up?
But anyways, he's confused.
Yeah, he is confused. So I'm for not misinformed.
Mm.
But I talked to Bryan because we brought him once a long time ago, maybe 12 years ago. He came in and he did a show. I think it was like a tournament or something like that. And somebody that shall be renamed nameless, even though I've said his name on other podcasts, actually told me, I go, bro, this right now is probably the best wrestler in the world. And he goes, I don't see nothing in him. I was like, okay. But anyway,
the thing is, he didn't pass. He didn't. For
I was going to say,
the eye test,
Did you guys use him as a baby face or a heel? Because maybe if you
he'd be great. Bro, his gimmick is the
American Dragon.
Yeah, American Dragon. Of course, he's a heel.
Yeah.
And plus two, he's got to get that old, rough, rugged look to him now and everything, bro. And you know how he works with Submit, bro. He can get in the ring and stretch these Mexican, stretching the Mexican baby faces and get over huge in the heel, right?
Yeah, I saw him in AEW, and I asked him if he wanted to do something in Mexico, and he said, yeah. And I brought up a couple of people, and then either that week or the next week, he fractured his forearm.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And so we never talked. So I got to talk to him again. But I would love, obviously, to work with him.
Yeah.
There was either something he said, Conan, or it was in his book, maybe, that one of his things left, and this was years ago, but one of his things left that he wanted to do was like a mask versus hair match in Arena Mexico. So he's thought about doing a big lucha match forever.
Right.
Well, he could probably lose his mask.
He could lose his hair.
Go in there with him. Come in as the American Dragon. Put
Wear
a
a
mask
mask.
on him. Everybody kind of knows it's him. Or there, have him
Right.
beat up the top baby face. Beat up the top baby face right away. Have him do. He talks the guy into a mask versus mask right away, and he loses his mask. He loses the match. Then he comes back against the next guy up, and he puts his hair on the line.
Right. Or we do the old gimmick. Or we do the old gimmick that Dusty Rhodes used to do. Remember when he would lose the loser leave town and he came back with a mask and they were like, "Yeah, you're
Midnight
Dusty
Rider.
Rhodes." He goes, "No, yeah, the Midnight Rider. No, I'm not." He goes, "You sound like him. You're built like that's not me."
You do the elbow. Come on.
It's tremendous.
The best one is when Tommy Wildfire Rich lost a loser leave town, right? And he came back as the masked Mr. R, right?
Right.
And Gordon Soley would be out there. He made the announcer's desk. He's like, "Oh, there's a lot of people that masked Mr. R. There are a lot of people that say that you are Tommy Wildfire Rich." He's like, in that southern voice, he goes, no, man. He goes, "You see, because I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, so I couldn't possibly be, Tommy Rich, because Tommy Rich is from Hendersonville, Tennessee, but I'm from Boston, Massachusetts."
Right.
That's awesome.
I love old school heels, old school wrestling stuff like that.
That was great stuff.
Yeah.
And plus, when you have a guy like Gordon, because he's treating it like he's in a serious interview.
Serious, yes.
Yeah.
So next is from Anton Gallagher, and the subject is K100's relationship with the listeners. Greetings. I've noticed an increasingly prevalent power dynamic between the show's hosts and the listeners. It appears the growing number of letters are resulting in a suspension from Disco for the mildest of infractions. Additionally, Conan has recently exerted a gratuitous authoritarian approach by moving the goalposts on the previously agreed target for the mini cameo and endorsing condemnation. Question: are these growing trends symptomatic of a purposely abusive relationship at a macro level between the hosts and their downtrodden listenership in order to make them feel worthless and unable to live without the show? Question: are the hosts basing their disciplinary style on any particular dictators of the past? P.S. Love the show. Kind regards, Dr. Hans from Dusseldorf, Germany.
That's the email of the week.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say first of all, the fact that the listeners, okay, bro, all of the listeners listen to the show. Okay, it's painfully obvious. There's a collection of certain listeners that try to get over on us in the emails. Okay. This is not authoritarian. This is not. This is just a good workplace environment where you're not supposed to show up to work and insult the bosses. Okay, which is what we are in this relationship. Just treat us respectfully and ask questions and don't try to get yourselves. All the people that are trying to get themselves over the emails are the ones that have the targets on their backs. Okay, and that's got nothing to do with us.
Yeah. And if you're going to be clever, if you're going to be clever, be more like this guy, because that was a fun email. But sorry, go ahead. What
was the first question? It was a little long, but what was the first question?
Are these growing trends symptomatic of a purposely abusive relationship at a macro level between the host and their downtrodden listenership in order to make them feel worthless and unable to live without the show?
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, I can't confirm that or deny it. So,
do you have any
question?
Yeah.
The second question: are the hosts basing their disciplinary style on any type particular dictators of the past?
I wouldn't say any particular dictator of the past, but we do like to take little pages from Pol Pot, Franco, Mussolini, Idi Amin, and Castro. And
the new one, Fidel Trudeau. Next is from Louis Rice, and the subject is entry into the business. I've heard Al Snow and Cornette say that becoming a wrestler in modern times is too easy. If you have the money, there are plenty of wrestling schools you can go to. This has made it easy for marks to become wrestlers. In the old days, Ole Anderson would stretch a newcomer, Vern Gagne would run trainees until they puked. Ric Flair famously tried quitting his camp. Bill Watts would fire wrestlers who lost bar fights. If you weren't tough enough, you weren't going to make it. Protecting the business meant the world to old timers, and they were only going to break guys in who could cut it. Do you think there's any validity to the idea that it's too easy to become a wrestler? If yes, what have the negative ramifications been for the shift over the years? Number one is when everybody found out that it wasn't real and it was fake, like this attitude of the Ole Anderson and Vern, but that does not apply anymore, because you don't have to. People know these people aren't fighting for real in the ring, right? So there's no reason to be a legit tough guy, but you still want to have the perception of being a real tough guy and look like a real tough guy. So it's like the problem with wrestling days, too many people that don't look like they can fight or even look like athletes are getting into the business. They're too skinny. They're too small. It's like, just because they can wrestle, or perform the moves and stuff, it's just, it dilutes the product and it makes people like, what do you think, Conan?
Yeah, it's just weird because it was a different era and they were trying to sell believability, so you had to be tough, but you don't need to do that today. That would be the same as somebody went up to Vin Diesel and said, hey, yo, let's start a fight because in Fast and Furious you beat everybody.
I noticed. I thought there was another Knight Nash email. I guess not, or I missed the second one. Do you want to watch this clip now, since there's not going to be another reason to cue it?
Well, how long is it?
It's the one we were talking about before. It's about 35 seconds.
Oh, it's 30. Okay, yeah, play that one.
If I was a complete moron, I'd say, let's look at that adjective. But I'm not a moron, so I'm going to say, let's look at that verb, play.
He finally got that receipt on Kevin Nash.
This is where the big boys play, huh? Look at the adjective, play.
I'm the biggest Kevin Nash fan in the world. Now, Kevin Nash is right up there with the top podcasters in all the world. But I do love when somebody gets a little receipt ski. One of the things that I find fascinating about LA Knight is he listens to what everybody says about him. And he doesn't forget a thing. And I think it actually works with his gimmick, too. It just adds to that.
No, you missed. This is not the clip, Joe.
The hell? What are you talking about? It just said the whole story.
Oh, it just
said the whole. Yeah.
I didn't. Well, no, I didn't get. I didn't. Here, go back and play it again because I didn't see this.
No, it has the clip in Nash.
My connection. We'll play it again. I want to see this again.
No big deal.
I was a complete moron, I'd say, let's look at that adjective. But I'm not a moron, so I'm going to say, let's look at that verb, play.
He finally got that receipt on Kevin Nash.
This is where the big boys play, huh? Look at the adjective, play.
I'm the biggest Kevin Nash fan in the world. Now, Kevin Nash is right up there with the top podcasters in all the world. But I do love when somebody gets a little receipt ski. One of the things that I find fascinating about LA Knight.
Cody, what do you think about that? What a great throwback, huh? He probably had gone through tons of Nash stuff just to get clap back. Right. I mean, oh my God. And Nash,
it's like
they could do some good TV together. Absolutely.
That's like infamous in like wrestle crap videos and stuff. Right. But Nash, of course, doesn't care about that. He's like, I don't even remember that. Did it have heat with you that Sam Roberts said the word receipt ski?
Yes.
I thought it might.
So next is from Daniel. Somebody's question for Conan. Hi there. New listener here, and I'm loving the show. You and Disco do keep it real. I have a question for you, Conan. What was it like being in a WWE ring for inducted Rey Mysterio? Me personally, I don't think you would do it because it was WWE. I didn't think you would do it because it was WWE. I've seen you on TNA with LAX, which happens to be my favorite tag team. That's yours truly, Daniel Murphy. How was that experience, Conan? Not like you haven't talked about it before here.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I was treated very, very well, much better than I expected. All the wrestlers, everybody it was an incredible time with Ray and Dom and everybody. And it was really cool to walk out there in front of all my peers, young and older, and deliver a good promo for Ray. And then afterwards, getting all the cool feedback.
Next is from Richard Potter and some of his bald wrestlers. Hey, Conan, master of the out-of-nowhere sniper insults, Disco Inferno, the man who's forgotten more about wrestling than any of these marks will ever know, and Joe, the equivalent of a brainless sideline reporter and not the hot one. What do you think about that, the opening to this email, Conan?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
I recently started rewatching Nitro episodes, and I caught one where Hogan and Savage had a match. Prior to the match, Hogan came in the ring wearing an obvious hairpiece for some movie role. During the match, Macho ripped off the hairpiece, and shortly after, Hogan ripped off Macho's bandana and kissed Macho's bald spot. Kiss Macho's bald spot. My question is, who was more insecure about their baldness, or was that the whole thing just a work? Also, want to congratulate Disco for recently being presented with the Employee of the Year award by the Shake Shack. Wear that sash proudly when you were sashaying through sapphires, my man. Thanks, Richard Potter. Let's give Richard Potter a month suspension, Joe.
Wait a minute.
See that?
Wow.
It was funny in the beginning when he made fun of me, and then he took the shot at you at the end.
Right. It's a month suspension. There's no reason for that. He's trying to get himself over. You can make fun of Joe, but you can't make fun of me and Conan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Macho was definitely more insecure about his baldness. They were actually talking about, there was a period of time where they were wondering if Randy should get his head shaved. And they actually, my boy Andre, the special effects guy, actually did was doing, this is way back when. So they were doing like computer simulations of what Macho would look like bald, and it didn't look good bald.
Yeah.
But he was definitely, yeah.
I would imagine, obviously, you guys have the experience of being around them, but I would picture that Macho would be more, because Hulk just lost his. Boom, it was gone. Young. When you lose it young, you don't miss it as much. When you're like Randy and you lose it little by little through the years, and now all of a sudden you got this big parking lot back there, I think that affects your psyche a little bit more, the slow loss.
Bro, they both
Just
were. They were wearing bandanas and strip clubs and bars. 2 in the morning, look, JoJo is, they both wore bandanas everywhere, and then they were always pulling it down in case a little bit came up. I'm like, bro, just shave the off, take that bozo look you got, shave it off, and embrace it.
Then much he got I think he got a little bit of plugs before he came back as the with the Team
100%.
Madness thing. Yeah.
Thanks for Tino Tran. The last one's where's the disco figurine? Hey, K100 gang. Oh, this is suspend this guy for a week, by the way. For figurine. I saw that there was a limited edition Conan figurine on. Are they called figurines or figures?
Figures, but Conan calls them figurines.
Well, the audience. Conan calls them figures.
The audience has adopted it. Yeah.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
Okay, a figurine is a female figure, though, right?
I think a figurine's like a little collectible thing.
I don't know. I'm not into this. I thought a figurine was like a female figure. It shows what I know. Like, whatever. I saw there was a limited edition Conan figurine on sale from Major Pod Merchant. It looked cool. My question is, will be limited edition Disco Inferno figurine available for sale in the future? I understand there needs to be some logistic and production issues trying to get Disco's nose to scale, but it'd be nice to have both Conan and Disco limited edition action figures in a collection. P.S. I know you all don't take suggestions, but in regards to emails that reference redacted to the redacted, should Conan and Disco implement a fine to Joe every time one of those emails gets through, like how WWE fines their talent for leg slapping? Thanks, and keep up the good content. Suspend this guy for a month.
Wow. It used to be.
Because he said you're trying to get Disco's nose. He took a shot at my nose.
Well, so I will say this.
That's body shaming. That's an extended.
What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name?
Tino Tran.
Okay, Tino Trans. Check this out, bro. Here's the thing. They fixed the Disco problem. What they do now is the nose comes individually, like if it was a weapon or something, and then you just screw it on. And then you screw it back off and you put it back in the box. So that's been fixed. So no more problems with that. And the Invisible Man, which Kevin Kleinreich said sold out in record time, quicker than the AEW's first show in Chicago. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Those sold well. Yeah. I wonder if they could make like a figurine thing of all the minis kicking Disco's Battle Royal in San Diego.
I've been trying to pitch a 3-pack of Conan and Disco and Crazy Eddie, but everyone I contact says that the Crazy Eddie figure is the deal breaker. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Figure that. All right, that's been the mailbag.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.